Hollyland VenusLiv V2. I was looking for a web camera that had the capabilities of a camcorder. And for my use case, I am a documentary filmmaker and I often record interviews virtually. Ever since COVID, remote filming has been more common. So instead of me going to the location of somebody to interview them, it's much more efficient and affordable to actually send them certain gear, web camera gear, that they can set up on their end, and then they could record it and then send me back the gear. And I've done that for a couple documentaries now, and it's worked pretty well, except the quality of the recording is dependent on the internet stream. Because up until this point, I couldn't find a proper web camera that can also record internally. Now you can use regular camcorders with something like a cam link, and through HDMI, you can turn camcorders into a webcam. But I was looking for something more portable, easier to use for people who have no idea how to use cameras. There's another version of this. There's an Air, which is smaller, but it doesn't have some key features that the reason why I got this one. So for this, it's meant to shoot vertical and horizontal like this. So that's why there's a 1/4 thread on this side and a 1/4 thread on that side. So that when you screw it into a tripod, it could be horizontal or vertical. This is a 72mm lens ring, so you can screw on filters if you want. It has a zoom. This goes optical a 3x zoom, but a digital to 6x. And on its widest, it's 22mm equivalent. It's f1.2 to 2.0. This is a 1/2-inch Sony sensor. So this is not the same as a full frame 1.2. This is more similar to like a 3.5 or something, the equivalent that's on their website. Here's a DC. Here's how you power it. This is one way to power it, through a DC to AC. Here it accepts MPF batteries. Here you have a USB-A where you can hook up a keyboard and other USB accessories. Here's a 3.5mm mic jack. Here's a USB-C input that transfers the video. Here's HDMI, full HDMI cable. This is your Ethernet cable. Here's a full SD card. And on this side, here's the power button, the record button, a menu button, and this USB-C is for mic. So if you have Hollyland microphones that have USB-C, you can connect the Hollyland mic and have wireless audio. Here's a 5-inch touchscreen, which looks beautiful, and it has internal fans, so this can run all day. It has post-production features. You can use green screen, image overlay, just like on a news broadcast, and you can do color correction. All of these things can be done in camera for the stream. You can control the camera wirelessly using their app. Here they show that you can sync the camera with your phone and control multiple cameras with just one phone. It doesn't come with an MPF battery. This is just one third-party battery that I have. Hold the button for 2 seconds while it turns on, and there it is. When you zoom, you can just hold this to zoom, and you can see here, this is on digital zoom. So on digital zoom, all the way at 0.6, you can see the equivalent, the focal range. It's 125mm. And then when you go all the way out to the widest, it's 22. You can't really see it. It just got blown out. But that's because it does stop down as you zoom in. And here, you hit this button, you have full manual control, exposure controls, all dialed in here. So shutter speed, ISO, white balance, aperture, it's done here. Here, there's multiple social media apps that are built in to the camera. So you just log into your account and then you can use this just like your phone. Resolution, you can do 4K, 1080p, 720. You have 2 frame rate options, 30 and 25, and you can choose the bit rate, the recording bit rate, all the way up to 20 megabits, that's the highest, and then your codec. So everything I've been saying so far seems pretty good, right? It's checking off a lot of boxes. You've never seen anything like this on the market besides the other versions of this that Hollyland's releasing, and it seems good. But as I've been using this, I'm running into a list of problems that does not make this usable to me. There are some big issues with this camera that I don't recommend for people because some of them are deal breakers. First of all, the camera itself, it looks cool, but it is really heavy, especially with the battery. This is so heavy that this is not like a web camera. This is really dense. It doesn't look that heavy, but the lens is pretty heavy. The body's pretty heavy. The battery makes it even heavier. This is something that you can't just set up on a small little tabletop tripod or one of those light stands that's kind of like it's a light stand for a GoPro. This is not going to cut it. It's way too heavy. This quarter 23, well, this one has more of a locking pin right here where it can be used, where it seems like it can be used for a more traditional fluid head. But this isn't designed really for a proper tripod plate. Even this bump right here, it prevents it from actually covering most of the body and having a lot of the pressure, the weight balanced out. By having it this way, it's not going to be balanced. So if you put this on your table or you have on other tripods that are really thin and small, maybe like a monopod, this is going to tip over. So already, ergonomically, this is not a good design. So there's certain menu settings that when you're going into the settings, it switches to vertical. So you have to go vertical like this in order to go through the settings. Even if you orient the screen horizontal, it still shows up as vertical. It doesn't switch. That's pretty annoying to me. Now the 2 frame rates, it only shoots 30 frames and 25 frames. 25 frames is Europe. It's not North America. And I would prefer a 29.97 or 23.98. Even though it has autofocus, it's unreliable autofocus. It has very basic tracking. So if something gets in front of the camera, it's gonna focus on that and then focus on you. It was constantly focusing on the background and I could not get the autofocus to be consistent. Even though the VenusLiv has a 3.5 millimeter mic jack, it has a USB-C mic, and it has internal mics. When you use this as a webcam, so you're using that USB-C cable, you plug it into your computer, it only transfers the video. It does not transfer any audio through the USB-C. That means you have to have another USB mic connected to your computer in order to transfer the audio at the same time as the video, and hopefully that syncs. Also with the USB-C cable is that not every cable works with this. All the USB-C cables that I own currently, whether it's for power or for data transfer, none of them worked on this camera. The only USB-C cable that worked for this camera is the one that comes with the camera. And this USB-C cable is massive. It's huge. This must be clearly designed for PC users because Macs have discontinued the USB-A. Everything's USB-C. So you have this cable that you're going to need an adapter for if you're a Mac user. And when you use this massive cable, the only cable that works with this camera, the audio doesn't transfer. There's no audio. You have that SD card. They advertise this camera as being able to stream live and then also record internally so you have a backup, high quality backup. Well, at the recording of this video, that feature does not work. This is why I don't have any test footage in this review video, because when you're using this camera as a regular camera or in webcam mode and you're recording to the SD card, it does not record to the SD card. It records to an internal memory. And then in a future firmware, you're going to be able to transfer the internal to an SD card, and then you can have that quality. And when you record internally, it limits you to HD at 10 megabits. So it's one of the lower quality resolutions and the lower quality bit rates. I think it's kind of crazy that Hollyland would release a camera highlighting features that don't even work when it first ships. I don't think this camera is going to be very successful, or the other versions of this. It just seems way too expensive. It has cool features, but it's limited. And it doesn't seem like many people are going to adopt this. I'm just going to use my phone. My phone's a much better system than this. I'm very disappointed with Hollyland. I thought it was neat that they had something like this because no other manufacturer is having anything like this. But they really dropped the ball with this version, and they need to fix all of those issues, especially the 2 deal breakers for me, if they want people to use something like this.